You know what's strange? Some people walk into a room and instantly get respect. They don't have to introduce themselves. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to talk louder than everyone else. And yet somehow, people pay attention. People listen. People move out of their way. People treat them differently. Have you ever noticed that? And have you ever wondered why? Most people think respect comes from money. Others think it comes from power. Some think it comes from being smarter, stronger, or more successful. But after years of watching people, I've learned something surprising. Respect has very little to do with what you own. It has everything to do with the signals you send. People make decisions about you within seconds, before you tell them your story, before you explain your achievements, before they know anything about your life. They're already deciding how much respect to give you. And they're making that decision based on tiny details. The way you stand, the way you move, the way you look at people, the way you listen, the way you react under pressure. The crazy part? Most people never learn this. They spend years trying to earn respect by talking more, showing off more, or working harder than everyone else. Meanwhile, the people who naturally command respect are doing something completely different. Today, I'm going to show you 5 simple things that instantly change how people see you. These aren't tricks. They're not manipulative hacks. They're habits. And once you start using them, you'll notice a difference almost immediately. People will listen more carefully. They'll value your opinions more. And most importantly, you'll start respecting yourself more too. Let's start with the first one. Number 1, stand like a winner. This sounds simple, too simple, but don't underestimate it. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Think about the last time you saw someone who looked nervous. Their shoulders were probably slumped. Their head was pointed down. Their body looked small, almost like they were trying to disappear. Now think about someone who naturally commands attention. Their posture is different. They stand tall. Their shoulders are relaxed but open. Their head stays up. They aren't trying to dominate anyone. They simply look comfortable in their own skin. And that matters, because people trust confidence, not fake confidence, not arrogance, real confidence, the kind that says, I belong here, without saying a word. Here's something interesting. When you change your posture, you don't just change how other people see you. You change how you feel. Stand up right now. Pull your shoulders back slightly. Lift your head. Take a deep breath. Notice how different that feels. Your body affects your mind, and your mind affects your behavior. That's why standing tall is one of the fastest ways to become more confident. You're sending a signal to yourself before you send it to anyone else. And people notice, even when they don't realize they're noticing. The second secret is even more powerful. The power of slow. Look around. Everyone is rushing. Everyone is running. Everyone is stressed. People walk fast, talk fast, eat fast, think fast. And because of that, most people constantly look nervous. Now pay attention to people who command respect. They're different. They move slower, not lazy, not careless, just calm. They don't look rushed. They don't look desperate. They don't look like they're chasing something. They look like they're in control. And that's exactly why people respect them, because calmness creates authority. Imagine 2 people walking into a meeting. The first person rushes through the door. They throw their bag down, start talking immediately, interrupt people, speak at lightning speed. The second person walks in calmly, sits down slowly, looks around the room, listens, waits before speaking. Which person seems more important? Which person seems more confident? Almost every time, it's the second one, because confidence doesn't rush. Confidence doesn't panic. Confidence doesn't need to prove itself. Here's something most people never realize. When you slow down, people start paying more attention to you. They become curious. They start wondering what you're thinking. They begin waiting for you to speak. And in a world full of noise, that's a superpower. Try it today. Walk slightly slower. Talk slightly slower. Pause before answering questions. You'll be amazed how different people respond. And we're just getting started. Because the third secret might be the most uncomfortable one for most people. Eye contact. Most people avoid it. They look at the floor, the wall, their phone, anywhere except another person's eyes. Why? Because eye contact feels vulnerable. It feels intense. It feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Eye contact is one of the strongest signals of confidence you can send. When you look someone in the eyes, you're communicating something powerful. You're saying, I'm here. I'm paying attention. I'm not afraid. And people respect that. Of course, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Don't stare like a robot. That's weird. Instead, use a simple rule. Look into their eyes for about 3 seconds. Look away briefly. Then look back. Natural, comfortable, confident. I still remember the first time I practiced this consistently. The conversations didn't change. The words didn't change. My personality didn't change. But somehow, people started responding differently. They listened more carefully. They took my opinions more seriously. And that's when I realized something. Confidence isn't always about what you say. Sometimes it's about what you communicate without speaking. And that's exactly what eye contact does. Now let's talk about the fourth secret. And honestly, this one surprised me the most. Because it sounds backwards. Listen more than you talk. Most people think respect comes from saying impressive things. They think respect comes from having the perfect answer. They think respect comes from being the smartest person in the room. But that's not what highly respected people do. In fact, they often talk less than everyone else. What they do instead is listen, really listen. Not the fake kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak. Not the kind where you're secretly planning your response while the other person is still talking. Real listening. The kind that makes someone feel understood. Think about the people you enjoy talking to the most. They're probably not the people who talk non-stop about themselves. They're probably the people who make you feel heard. The people who ask good questions. The people who seem genuinely interested in what you're saying. Why? Because every human being wants the same thing. To feel important. To feel understood. To feel valued. And when you give someone that feeling, something powerful happens. They naturally begin respecting you. Not because you demanded respect. Not because you impressed them. Because you made them feel seen. Here's a simple challenge. The next time you're having a conversation, stop focusing on what you're going to say next. Instead, focus completely on understanding the other person. Listen to the words they're saying. Notice their tone. Notice their emotions. Pay attention to what they actually mean. Then ask a question. A real question. Not a question designed to make you look smart. A question designed to help you understand them better. You'll be amazed what happens. People open up. People trust you. People remember you. And most importantly, people respect you. Because great listeners are rare. Very rare. Most people are too busy trying to be interesting. Respected people focus on being interested. And that's a huge difference. Now, let's move to the fifth and most powerful secret. The silence weapon. This one changed my life more than any of the others. Because most people are terrified of silence. The moment a conversation becomes quiet, they rush to fill the space. They start talking, explaining, joking, defending themselves, anything to avoid silence. But highly respected people do the opposite. They're comfortable with silence. They don't panic when nobody's talking. They don't feel the need to constantly prove themselves. And because of that, their words carry more weight. Think about what happens during an argument. Everyone starts talking at once. People interrupt each other. Voices get louder. Everyone wants to be heard. And in the middle of all that noise, nobody is actually listening. Now imagine one person stays calm. They don't jump into the chaos. They simply watch, listen, observe. While everyone else is emotional, they're thinking. While everyone else is reacting, they're paying attention. Then finally, after everyone else has finished talking, they say one sentence. A short sentence. A calm sentence. A thoughtful sentence. And suddenly, everyone listens. Why? Because silence creates value. When someone talks all the time, people stop paying attention. But when someone speaks carefully and intentionally, people become curious. They lean in. They want to hear more. Silence creates authority. I saw this happen at work once. A group of people were arguing over a project. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone was talking over everyone else. The room was chaos. But one guy sat quietly the entire time. He didn't interrupt. He didn't defend himself. He didn't compete for attention. He just listened. After 10 minutes of arguing, he finally spoke. 5 words. Let's try a different approach. That's it. 5 words. And the room immediately became quiet. People listened. People considered his idea. People agreed. Not because he was louder. Not because he was more important. Because he used silence correctly. And that's something most people never learn. The ability to stay calm while everyone else is emotional. The ability to stay quiet while everyone else is talking. The ability to think before speaking. That's real power. But here's the biggest secret of all. None of these 5 habits work if they're fake. You can't pretend your way into respect forever. Eventually people notice. Eventually people feel it. Because respect isn't really about posture, or eye contact, or speaking slowly, or listening, or silence. Those are only the symptoms. The real source of respect is something deeper. Self-respect. That's where everything starts. When you stand tall, you're respecting your body. When you slow down, you're respecting your time. When you make eye contact, you're respecting your worth. When you listen, you're respecting other people. When you use silence, you're respecting your words. Everything comes back to self-respect. And people can feel that. They can sense the difference between someone who's acting confident and someone who genuinely believes in themselves. One feels forced. The other feels real. And people are naturally drawn to what's real. That's why the most respected people aren't trying to impress anyone. They're simply comfortable with who they are. They're not desperate for approval. They're not chasing validation. They're not constantly trying to prove their value. They already know their value. And that changes everything. Because when you stop trying to convince people to respect you, something strange happens. People start respecting you. Now let's make this incredibly simple. If you forget everything else from this video, remember these 5 rules. Number 1, stand tall, not because you're trying to look important, because you are important. Stop shrinking yourself. Stop trying to disappear. Take up your space. Walk like you belong where you are, because you do. Number 2, slow down. The world is full of rushed people, anxious people, panicked people. Don't become one of them. Walk slower, talk slower, think slower. The calmer you become, the more confidence you project. And confidence always attracts respect. Number 3, use eye contact, not to intimidate people, not to dominate people, to connect with people. Look them in the eyes. Let them know you're present. Let them know you're listening. Confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes confidence is simply being comfortable enough to look someone in the eye. Number 4, listen more than you talk. Most people are trying to be heard. Very few people are trying to understand. Become one of the few. Ask questions. Pay attention. Be curious. When people feel understood, they remember you. And when people remember you, respect follows naturally. Number 5, use silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Silence is patience. Silence is confidence. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most respected. The person who speaks carefully is. Remember that. Now here's something important. Don't try to master all 5 habits today. That's how most people fail. They get excited. They try to change everything at once. Then they quit 3 days later. Instead, choose one. Just one. Maybe you start standing taller. Maybe you start slowing down. Maybe you focus on eye contact. Pick the easiest one and practice it for the next 7 days. That's it. 1 week. 1 habit. Because small changes create big results. The people you admire didn't become confident overnight. They built confidence 1 action at a time, 1 conversation at a time, 1 decision at a time. And you can do exactly the same thing. Imagine where you'll be in 6 months if you practice these habits every day. Imagine how differently people will treat you. Imagine how differently you'll feel about yourself. The best part? You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need special talent. You don't need a different personality. You just need practice. And the moment you start practicing, things begin to change. Maybe not instantly, maybe not dramatically, but little by little, conversation by conversation, day by day, you'll notice people listening more closely, interrupting less often, taking your opinions more seriously, showing you more respect. And eventually you'll realize something powerful. The respect you were looking for from other people started with the respect you gave yourself. That's the real lesson. Not posture, not eye contact, not silence. Self-respect. Because when you respect yourself, the way you walk changes, the way you talk changes, the way you think changes, the way you allow people to treat you changes. And when that changes, everything changes. So here's my challenge for you. Right after this video ends, choose one of these 5 habits. Use it today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Then come back in 7 days and tell me what happened. I think you'll be surprised. Because most people spend their entire lives wondering why nobody respects them. Very few people are willing to change the signals they're sending. Now you know exactly what those signals are. And that gives you an advantage most people never get. If this video helped you, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, I create videos designed to help you think better, become stronger, and build the kind of confidence that changes your life. Also, leave a comment below. Which of these 5 habits are you going to try first? Standing taller? Moving slower? Eye contact? Listening? Hors silence? I read every comment, and I'd love to hear your answer. Remember this: respect isn't something you chase. Respect is something you become, and the moment you start respecting yourself, the world begins to notice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.